بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Discussing those attributes that are undesirable, those attributes that we need to remedy. We've discussed two already. The first one being hirs, that is greed, and the second one is tama', which is desire for more and more, to be coveting more and more of the dunya. The third one is ghussa. Ghussa, anger. Regarding anger, the Quran and Hadith both speak about it. These are qualities that are found in every human being, this particular quality. This is found in every human being. There's really a person, I don't think you can come across anyone, who does not have even the slightest level, smallest level of ghussa. If he does not have it, there is something wrong with him. Really speaking. गुस्सा इंसान की फितरत में है. It is part of the makeup of human beings that there is a certain amount of gussa, certain amount of anger. Some have it to a lesser degree than the other ones who have it when it's up in the red. In the red. It just goes up instantly. Shorts circuits very quickly. Regardless, it is there. And this is why Quran speaks about it, Hadith speaks about it. That these are qualities that are found in human beings which is totally within their control. You cannot curb it altogether. You cannot eradicate it. If somebody says take ghussa out of a person altogether, that's never going to happen. That is what we refer to as jibillah. Jibillah, you are born with it, something intrinsic. It's found within the makeup of the human being, includes this quality. This is called jibillah. Jibillah, what you are born with. So there is, in Farsi there is a saying, Jabal Gardad, Jibillat na gardad. You can move a mountain from its place, but you cannot change the nature of an individual. The nature will remain. You can't change that. You can redirect it. Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, well known, he was a person who was angered very easily. And his anger, people feared it. Prior to Islam, his anger was directed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, so much so that he emerged from his home on one occasion, well known, with intent to assassinate the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he visited his sister, and the whole story is there, how he accepted the deen. So there his anger was directed to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him the hidayah and he came and accepted the deen of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that same anger, it didn't change. It was there still. It was redirected to the mushrikeen, the polytheists of Makkah. It was redirected. So we cannot eradicate anger altogether. We shouldn't even try to do that. That is why if you nowadays, there is a term that is very common when there is dispute and so on, and then the courts decide, they said you need to go for anger management. You heard this term? Anger management. Not anger eradication, anger, manage it. And this is not new. Our deen has taught us this already long time ago. How to manage that anger. Speaking about anger in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. The believing people are those that spend from what Allah has given them. Always, we are spending not what we earned, we are spending what Allah has given us. What we have is not ours. It's either you're going to spend it correctly to benefit you in the hereafter. That is the real spending. What you eat and drink, that's yours. The rest of it, none of it is yours. In the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, يَقُولُ ابْنُ آدَمَ مَالِي مَالِي. Ibn Adam will repeat this so often, my wealth, my wealth. وَهَلْ لَكَ مِن مَالِكَ. Nothing is yours. None of that wealth is yours. إِلَّا مَا أَكَلْتَ فَأَفْنَيْتَ. That which you have eaten and you destroyed it in the process. When you eat it, as good as it may be, when it is on the plate, once it goes through your system, you don't want to know about it after that. Right or wrong? إِلَّا مَا أَكَلْتَ فَأَفْنَيْتَ. You destroyed it totally. أَوْ لَبِسْتَ فَأَبْلَيْتَ. Whatever you wore, clothing, and it perished. You used it to the extent that it tore and it was of no use anymore. That is yours. Only that is yours. You ate, destroyed. You wore, and it perished. That is your property. Everything besides that is up in the air. You spend it correctly to build your hereafter, that is going to be beneficial for you. And if you flaunt your wealth and you spend it in incorrect places, it will be ye wabal banega. It will be against you on the day of judgment. You will have to give an account of it in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ. In prosperity they spend. وَالضَّرَّاءِ. In adversity also they spend. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ. This is the part relating to our topic. And those who swallow their anger. Who swallow the anger, and those who forgive. وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. Swallowing the anger and forgiving people who may have done any harm to you. Forgiving. Forgiving is easy, forgetting is difficult. So the word here, Allah has mentioned, وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ. The word afu. Afu means to forgive, not but just forgive, to forgive and forget it. That's the hard one. So forgiving and forgetting about it. Not keep reminding us, I forgive you, but you remember. Now you keep reminding the guy, he did wrong to you, right? Okay, done. He's asked you, he's apologized to you profusely, and yet you forgive him, you say I forgive him, but yet you keep reminding him, aapko yaad hai? Aapne aisa kiya tha. You keep reminding him. That is not how it's supposed to be done. Wallahu yuhibbul muhsinin. Allah loves those who do good. Then in the hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was approached by an individual, and he came to him and he said, Ya Rasulullah, awsini. Give me some good advice, sound advice. He went to the right person. Look for the right people to get advice. That is also very important. Who greater than the Nabi of Allah to give advice? So he chose the correct avenue. He went to the correct source of advice, and he asked him, awsini, and keep it short. In some narrations, he said, give me some advice, keep it short. You believe that? Asking the Nabi of Allah, keep it short. Why? I'm a person that forgets things very easily. So I need something very concise. Give me something that I can take away from here. And I take from this that when we have talks and we have speeches, we should keep it short. Most people's attention span is very little. Most. I'm not saying everyone. MashaAllah, there's good attention span I can see from people who are kallimun nas ma ramawka bi absarihim. In the hadith it comes, they speak to people until such time that their gaze is on you. Once they are distracted, senseless talking. Kallimun nas ma ramawka bi absarihim. So I'm a firm believer in that. We'll try to keep it short. I've been trying to keep it shorter than I have, but mashallah, when I look at, the luminous faces here and the attention that is being given and the people listening so attentively, I sometimes, overstep the line, which is not in keeping with my own, preference. In any case, he said to him, Awsini, give me some sound advice. فَقَالَ Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam kept it short. Just one word. He said, لَا تَغْضَبْ غُصَّ مَتْكَرَ. That's it, finished. Then he asked, but that's it? I thought it was too short for him. So I suppose it was too short for him. So he asked again. He repeated his question, Awsini. And the answer came back, لَا تَغْضَبْ, second time. Again he asked, لَا تَغْضَبْ فَرَدَّدَ مِرَارًا. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam repeated the same answer each time he queried for more advice. 3 times over, the same answer. There has to be something in this that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam stuck to that one thing and he repeated it over and over and said, La taghdab. In another hadith regarding anger, Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu relates, أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ليس الشديد بالسرعة. A powerful man is not the one who defeats his adversary. You're not powerful. If you're a wrestler and you can throw the guy to the ground and pin him down, so that makes you a strong person. No, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying ليس الشديد بالسرعة. Doing that that's not no power. It does not constitute powerful, being powerful. What is the real power? إنما الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. The person who is powerful is the one who controls himself at the time of anger. If you can control your anger, you're a powerful man. Not that you have, muscle and brawn. All of that is in its place, it's good. Al-mu'minu al-qawi khayrun wa ahabbu ila Allah min al-mu'min al-da'if. A strong believer is better in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala than a weak one. So be strong, but that's not the real power. The real power is when you are faced with the situation where you become angered and you are able to take charge of that position, manage the anger. We spoke about anger management. In another narration it appears that there were 2 people in the presence of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who got into an argument. So heated it became that the one's eyes became like bloodshot red, and all his veins in his neck protruded from him. You could see them all bulging. He was so, angered to the extent that he was out of control altogether. In the presence of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he's seeing this happening, and he looked at it and he said, "Inni la'arifu kalimatan law qalaha la dhahaba anhu alladhi yajid." I know a word that if this man has to repeat those words, what he is feeling will disappear. It will calm him down instantly. It will calm him immediately and instantly if he just repeats those words. Now this is the remedy. We speak of anger management. There's it. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam showed us how to manage our anger. We don't have to go, to anger management classes. The class is here. It's our deen has shown us all these things. And what is that word? A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Recite that. When overtaken by anger, recite A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem, and that removes the shaitan from the equation, because the anger that you are feeling is actually incited by the shaitan. So when you recite this isti'adha, you are seeking refuge in Allah from the shaitan, immediately, with conviction, I can say, and we have firm faith in what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, your anger will disappear. Furthermore, in the Sharia, we learn that if you become angered and you are standing, sit down. If you are sitting, lay down. And if that all doesn't work, get up and perform wudu. Wudu will remove shaitan from the equation. And then finally, especially make wudu with some cold water, Don't use the hot water. It make you a little more hot again. So you need to cool down, use cold water. Let it shake you a little bit. Use the coldest you got. Take the bottle from the fridge if you have to. Alright? And perform wudu with it. It will calm you down. It will cool you down. Remove the heat of the moment. And furthermore, divert your attention immediately in engaging in some other activity. Take yourself out of that situation. Especially, some have mentioned, reading. Start reading. Quran leke baith jao. Dua leke baith jao. Kitab leke koi padh lo. Take something and just start reading. It will distract you and take you away from this. If all fails to eliminate the anger, then the next thing to do is withdraw from the presence of the one who is the target of your anger. The one who is the target of your anger, you are seeing him, remove yourself from that room. Just go away outside. Go out wherever. Remove yourself from the situation. These are the remedies for the situation and anger management. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. And the final point that we need to keep in mind, that you are demonstrating your anger and your power over this individual. You need to remember that there is somebody up there who has greater power over you. If you look up there and you say, ये मेरे अल्लाह की ताकत जो है मुझसे ज्यादा है, बहुत ज्यादा है. Allah's power is much greater. If I want to mete out any sort of punishment because of my anger on this individual, Allah is more powerful than that to mete out to me His anger. And if that happens, what's going to happen to me? So keep that in mind. Should also adopt the attitude of, if Allah had to adopt the attitude of wrath and anger with you, how would you fare in that situation? As you are wanting to do with the individual who has become the target of your anger, what worth am I of? Question ourselves. I am a non-entity. How can then I act in conflict with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah is deserving of that. If Allah wants to be angry with somebody, He is deserving of that. I am a non-entity. I can't be angry with anyone. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us tawfiq. I read a little quotation and I'll conclude with that quotation. Very brief and thought-provoking. Real power is to keep smiling at those who offended you. That's real power. It takes a lot of doing that. Somebody offended you and you can keep smiling at him. Think about it. Somebody just offended you and you smile back at him. Secondly, to be friendly to those who neglected you. Still remain friends with them. They neglected you. They cast you out. Still remain friendly with them. And be merciful of those who have treated you hard. Treated you badly, basically. To be merciful to such people. Don't have इंतकामी जज्बा नहीं होना चाहिए. इंतकामी जज्बा to animosity in the sense that you want to revenge, take revenge. You were bad to me, I'm going to find a point in some time in the future where I will pay back. That doesn't give you any peace. If you want peace, somebody neglected you, fine, it's fine. So long as Allah does not neglect you. And for that, we need to be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will not neglect. Anybody can neglect. The whole dunya can come together and try to harm you. If Allah does not want harm to you, nobody can harm you. And the whole world all together, the whole humanity get together and they want to cause some good for you, and Allah does not wish it for you, nobody can give it to you. Allah grant us tawfiq wa akhiru da'wana. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. अल्लाह जो पढ़ा सुना गया है या अल्लाह उस पर अमल की तौफीक अता फरमा. या अल्लाह गुस्सा की जो सिफत है या अल्लाह हम में से सबके दिल दिमाग के अंदर ये चीज़ है, हमारी फितरत के अंदर ये चीज़ है. या अल्लाह आफियत के साथ उस पर रोक लगाने की हमें तौफीक अता फरमा. या अल्लाह आफियत वाली ज़िंदगी हमें अता फरमा. मौत कलिमे शहादत के साथ हमें नसीब फरमा. या अल्लाह इन आखिरी अय्याम रमज़ान शरीफ के या अल्लाह कुछ कर लेने की हमें तौफीक अता फरमा. उसके अनवार व बरकत से हमें मुस्तफीज़ फरमा. या अल्लाह हर खैर मुक़द्दर फरमा, हर शर से हमारी हिफाजत फरमा. सुबहान रब्बिक